ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Gina Carano for winning. She has won, defeated a motion to kill her lawsuit. She's advancing, and this is a massive victory in the culture war. Deadline reports, Gina Carano beats Disney's movie to kill Mandalorian firing suit. Now trial looms. The Daily Mail has this. Gina Carano is moved to tears after judge rejects Disney's motion to dismiss her lawsuit over Mandalorian firing. What happened to me was unacceptable. Carano, 43, sued Disney for discrimination in February. She was fired from Mandalorian in 2021 after a controversial social media post. That's cancel culture. Let's talk about cancel culture. Here's the post. She wrote, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Quote, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? That's all she said. Now take a look at what Daily Mail says. Carano had played Cara Dune in the first 2 seasons of the hit show Mandalorian, which streams on Disney+. She was fired after she compared the treatment of Jews in Nazi Germany to conservatives in modern America in a social media post. Lie. No, she didn't. She said, don't demonize your neighbor. Nowhere in the post did it say conservatives are being persecuted like Jews. She said the Nazis got neighbors to hate each other and to persecute a group of people. Don't hate people for their politics. I could say the exact opposite. Gina Carano compared the treatment of Democrats to the Jews in Nazi Germany. Because she's talking about everybody. There are people on the right who hate people on the left, people on the left, hate people on the right. And her message was, don't hate your neighbor. It is the powers that be that are driving you against each other. It's amazing how this happens, right? They say on Wednesday, following the court ruling, she shared a lengthy Instagram statement as well as a clip from her 2021 interview with the Daily Wire. What happened to me was unacceptable, absurd, and abusive. Among other things, it should not have happened to me. And it should not have happened to anyone else moving forward. Let it stop here, she wrote. And I got to tell you, Gina Carano, this is crazy. She was going to be a movie star. They were setting her up to be an A-lister megastar. And I really do mean that. She's in Deadpool. She has a light role. Then she's in a Mandalorian, a massive hit show with a prominent character. Disney was building up her profile. She was going to be headlining movies. She was going to be huge. And then she said, don't hate your neighbors. The left attacked her, and Disney said, you're done. And she didn't do anything wrong. Carano started out her statement by quoting the court's ruling. The court denies defendant's motion. She went on, I am moved to tears after a brutal 3.5 years. I am being given the opportunity to move forward in the court of law before the judge and my peers to clear my name. I am so grateful for this opportunity. I quite literally fought to get where I got to in my career through intense ups and downs, and I'll keep up that fight to continue doing what I love. I appreciate all of you who stood by me and defended me, and I am so sorry that similar situations have happened to some of you. I want you to know that I see you and I stand with you. To clarify what I was saying is her career track was to be a megastar. With her getting her roles, she was doing, I'm going to be completely honest. Her skills were improving. She was doing a better and better job. She was doing a tremendous job in Mandalorian. I liked the show. And then they decided to nuke her and burn her career to the ground over social media. She was speaking out. That's why. I don't think it was this one post. I think they fired her because she was outspoken. She also thanked the owner of X, Elon Musk. Thank you to Elon Musk, a man I've never even met, who so graciously gave me a fighting chance. Thank you for standing for justice for all of humanity. May God bless you and your family for years to come, because he has chosen you for such a time as this. Gina also shared a clip from her 2021 interview with Daily Wire's co-founder Ben Shapiro, 40, I don't know why they put his age, writing that she was at my lowest point at the time. I was wounded and in so much pain, but I feel that pain lifting now. I pray for justice to shine through this case. It's been one heck of a life. I am looking forward to getting back to the art of storytelling and doing my part to help the world heal. She said, thank you all. I'm sure it will be quite a battle ahead, but God's given me the ability to take some punches and give some back. My feet are on solid ground. Imagine what your voice can do. Man, shout out to Gina Carano. Win. I'm excited to hear this. Disney sucks. This is a ridiculous move they made, but we are going to win this culture war, and we are going to tell them you can't do this. Now let's talk about cancel culture. This is cancel culture. What did she do wrong? They're lying. They said she compared conservatives to Jews. No, she didn't. She said, don't hate your neighbor. Who would disagree? Why disagree with that? They lie. Right now, there are a lot of people celebrating and calling for the death of Donald Trump. One guy got arrested for calling for the death of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. He did not explicitly say he was going to go do anything. He said he wanted others to do it. They arrested him. And this is what I say. These people on social media that are losing their jobs because they're calling for the death of the president, of the front runner, I should say, former President Trump and front runner. They're calling for his death. And everyone's like, we shouldn't target little old ladies who work at Home Depot. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. We're not talking about someone who said, don't hate your neighbor. We're talking about people who are saying to kill. And they're getting fired from their jobs for saying it. If there's no social consequence for calling for murder, then we're in for a world of trouble. We need a standard. Now, in my world, in how I view things, there's a broad brush. If someone comes out and says they hate Donald Trump, he should be locked up, he's a criminal, I say, well, they can say that. Broad brush. There's a lot of leeway. But when you advocate anybody should be murdered, now I'm like, you say it on your own time, but not on someone else's dime. I agree with that being a bannable offense. Calling for or advocating saying someone should be killed. No problem with saying advocacy for murder, death, and violence. I have no problem with that being banned. The issue with cancel culture is they destroyed the career of Gina Carano because she said, don't hate your neighbor. What they really didn't like is that she was a conservative or conservative-leaning person, and she was outspoken online. They could have given her a warning. Disney could have said, why don't you just take it down and be more careful? We don't want a PR backlash. I think the reason is Disney is actually full of a bunch of woke individuals as well, who also did not like the fact that Gina Carano was conservative and was pushing back. She got these jobs. They then realized, hey, this lady is right-leaning. So they nuked her. That's cancel culture. That's wrong. If some woman at Home Depot posted a thing saying, don't hate your neighbor, the Nazis, blah, blah, just like she did, I'd say, why would you fire her for that? But there are people who lost their jobs because they donated to Kyle Rittenhouse. There are people who lost their jobs for saying they supported Donald Trump. There are people who lost their jobs for wearing MAGA hats. That's cancel culture. I hope she wins. And I hope she wins a lot of money. I don't see how she ends up getting her career back and making millions of dollars or anything like that. She might win a lot of money from Disney, but I don't see her coming back to this show or other shows. I do wonder, however, if given the option to bring her back to the show or take the money, what she would do. Because I'll tell you this, I've been in a couple of labor lawsuits in my day. And I remember one where this one company, I got to be light in the details due to settlements. A company that I worked for had taken some illicit actions. Our paychecks were shorted. As many of you know, I'm Asian. And so, I'm really good at math. I'm allowed to say that, by the way, I think. I don't know what the rules are on racism. I am part Asian, so I can do math pretty well. So I'm kidding, by the way, calm down. But I get my paycheck. I look at it, and right away, no, wrong. And I ask my friends, hey, your paychecks. And they're like, I don't know. And I look at their paychecks, and I go, wrong. I go to the boss, and I say, our checks are wrong. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, our checks are wrong. Look, I'll do the math for you. It took me 10 seconds. I said, here's our commission. Here's our hourly rate. And they went, oh, I'm sorry. It happens sometime. We'll get it fixed right now because they can print checks. They print a check, hand it to me. Here are your new checks, guys. I go, wrong. And they go, what? And I'm like, it's wrong. And they're like, what do you mean it's wrong? I was like, it was short 60, not short 20. It was short 61 something. Now it's short 22 something. And they were like, it is? And I was like, yes, I did the math already. And I looked at my friends and they're like, oh, geez. They print the correct checks. I did some research, looked at my friends. They had been shorted before. And apparently this company had been notorious for the whoopsie-daisy strategy of cutting corners. Underpay your staff. And if they don't notice, there's no problem. And if they do, it's a whoopsie-daisy. So we had some complaints that escalated. I went to the National Labor Board and I said, here's everything I've collected. And they went, wow, okay. We immediately got fired. A director flew out and said, you can't do this stuff. You can't talk about this stuff. You're all being let go. I laughed. it was funny because my friend started mouthing off and I said, shut up, stop talking. Went to the labor board, said, here's what happened. And they said, we are suing on your behalf. After about 3 months of us waiting, they came back and said, you can have your job back or back pay. And I was like, wait. There's no punitive damages for what they did. They broke the law. And they were like, no, we've won. You get your job back or you get retro pay and you quit. I said, if I get my job back, they're going to fire me the next day and they're going to find some reason to do it. And she was like, that's not my problem. That was the labor board saying that. That's not, if they retaliate, then you can get them in trouble. I was like, they'll just claim they're shutting the office down. They'll find a reason to fire me. She was, then take the retro. We got paid a couple grand each. We didn't get our jobs back. There was no penalty. It was ridiculous. If Gina Carano wins and they say, welcome back to Mandalorian, within one episode, it would be the most ridiculous show ever. Cara Dune is like, I am back from my home planet. What's that? And then there's an explosion. And then Pedro Pascal goes, oh no, they killed her. And then it just plays the end credits and it's like, Cara Dune is dead. And they're allowed to do that. It's not retaliation. That's what we wrote for a character. So all she could really do is get retro pay. But hopefully with the scale of this and the lawsuit for discrimination, she takes it way further than that and actually wins punitive in some degree. I don't know if punitive is you can actually get it in this regard, but I hope she does succeed. So, yeah. I hope she wins. Shout out to Gina Carano, and I'm glad to see this victory. I'm looking up. I think we're winning this culture war. It's not a done deal. We just have to make sure we're registering all our friends to vote. We go out and vote. We don't let the Democrats steal this one. And we have to create culture. I'll wrap it up there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.